Yep.
Well, hi everybody, I'm here with Megan Stewart on our Inspirational Athlete series. We're going to talk to Megan today. She's one tough lady, this one. And Megan and I go way back. She actually crewed for me in Death Valley my second time there and was my paramedic. And but since then she's gone on to do some amazing feats. So welcome Megan, nice to have you with us today.
Nice to be here.
Tell us how you got started, our very first run together perhaps.
Our very first run together. Well, first of all, Lisa rang me one day and asked me if I'd embark on this massive challenge and be chief crewee for Death Valley 2. And I thought, I don't even run, honey. So we had our first run from Egmont Village School up to the mountain house. There's nothing wrong with a bit of prophylactic Nurofen, Panadine and 2 cans of V.
I don't want to promote those ones, but yeah.
So off we ventured, and I was probably in awe really at you and what you had already achieved, and always thought, well, I could never ever be like Lisa, but this is an opportunity, go for it. And so off we go up the mountain, and then we get strange encounters with a goat, and there was lots of walking and lots of talking and lots of laughing.
And you realised there's something on that day, didn't you?
I did. When I got back to the car and sat down, and I just thought, oh my God, I don't believe I did that.
35 Ks?
Yeah.
On your very first run with me, so
which
is pretty impressive.
Yeah, because I'm not a runner.
Got to run walking, but hey, this was a mountain too.
Exactly. And that was pretty awesome. And by the time I got home, and I still was thinking,
interesting.
Wow,
what did you do?
Perhaps I can do this, you see. But I was a bit scared about going into the desert because I don't really do heat. Well, apparently, I thought I didn't do heat.
More famous last words.
Yeah, more famous. There's many of them with you. And that probably scared me as much as anything. I didn't have any qualms about you, and we had an awesome crew.
Yeah.
With lots of skill and things like that. But I was really a bit worried about my own abilities, and we had some fun.
So we went over, I did the Badwater Ultra Marathon at 217 k's through there, and Megan saved me from a rattlesnake at some stage.
Yeah, the Mojave Green Rattler.
She actually threw me on the ground, not the lady you want to mess with, she does jiu-jitsu, and when she pulls you to the ground, you fall on the damn ground.
That was after we jumped over the snake.
But what really changed in Megan is I saw, after doing that, she saw what the human body can do and what you were capable of.
Yeah.
And then you decided, hey, I'm going to give this ultra marathon running a bit of a go. That was perhaps after running through New Zealand as well.
Yeah, that was...
Being in charge of my complete logistics, running through New Zealand was an ultra marathon on its own.
Yeah.
Especially when I went and changed the game plan in the middle. But what I want to really get onto today, Megan, is that your mindset changed and you decided, I can do this. You saw how I did it. You saw it wasn't rocket science, it was just guts, and guts is something you've got plenty, which you knew. So you decided, hey, I'm going to give this thing a crack.
Oh, exactly. I mean, they're like little adventures, and there's nothing, that Run New Zealand, where you actually got to see New Zealand, step by step. I mean, you can drive a road 1,000 times and not actually see it. And that was pretty intense, and there was lots of planning. When I met up with you in Christchurch, and poor Lise was so completely miserable, and how we pulled that back. I mean, like the push and pull you, and getting up the hill and hunt at the Hindales and things like that. And that probably inspired me that you can achieve if you just sort of break it down into chewable chunks and just one step at a time, and you can get there. So I learned a lot about myself in that one, and decided that perhaps I can do these crazy things.
Well, you actually ended up staying out there with me the entire day, some days, because I was really in agony and I was walking at some stages.
Yeah.
And I remember one day in particular, we got to the top of this hill, and my shin splints were so bad that I couldn't work out how to actually drop my foot to go down. And she says, oh, that's cool, we'll just turn around sideways and we'll shuffle down sideways, That was Megan, that was her attitude, like there's no obstacle that can't be got around. So we did it, and we had 1,500 kilometres still to go. But that attitude is something that you had already ingrained in you, that you wouldn't give up either, and you didn't give up on me. And then you decided, okay, I'm going to have a crack at this. What was your first adventure?
Oh, the Sahara.
Straight to the Sahara. No marathons, nothing.
No.
Just straight to a 250k multi-day stage race across the Sahara.
I didn't know you could get so many different types of sand. It was the cornflower sand that really got me though. And again, yeah, that was my first one with the 46th 250 multi-stage race. I was totally blown away by the whole thing. I mean, getting there and touring through Sinai and being held hostage and things like that also helped me work out, oh well, I can survive this. As we were going through the Sinai desert, and I realised that actually if I didn't turn up at the hotel in 8 days' time, you know, I could have been chopped into bits and sold, traded or whatever, but yeah, we got over that. But that was a really good hard nap for the Sahara, really. And so yeah, off we went. Lisa was like sort of off in the distance, and here was me stumbling around and going, oh my god, first day, 40 degrees and 40 knot headwind, and
It's pretty rough.
yeah, so my game plan, which I had, was, yeah, I had plan A, plan B and plan C. Well, by the time day one finished, I was already on to plan B with my foot gear. And by day two, I think I'd run out of my blister kit. But again, too, yeah, you've just got to work out how you're going to tackle it and what you've got to pull out to get there. And I mean, I had an absolute blast. It was mind-blowing. It was just amazing. But to be miserable at the same time, but in the most beautiful place, you know, you've got this massive or huge, it's like a void really, isn't it, that you put yourself into. You're isolated from anything else in the Western world really. And yeah, and I mean the further you go into a desert, the more it strips away everything plastic. Doesn't matter whether you're the queen or a king or a, you know, whoever. And you know, your commodities are worth nothing. Because you know your most important thing is water and food and getting that energy, getting to the end. And I had some absolutely miserable times. When I got to the finish line on the last day or on the longest day, I was just so stuffed. And when I KO'd myself in the middle of the tent.
Oh, that was incredible. The longest day on the multi-day stage race there is around the 100 odd Ks, I think, from memory. And I remember I got in about 9 o'clock at night, starting at 6 a.m. and 10 o'clock next morning, Megan still wasn't in, and I was like, oh my god, I've killed my mate, you know, where is she? You know, she's still out there in that hell. And finally she started to come, I saw her in the distance coming off, so I ran over and woohoo, and you know, big celebrations. I've never seen you so screwed in my life, absolutely smashed, but grinning from one ear to the other. I took the backpack off her as she crossed the finish line and got her to the tent. And she literally just fell forward in the tent, face planted, and didn't move for 8 hours. And I was going, oh my god, I've got to rehydrate her. She's like, and she was just out cold. 8 hours later, I checked her pulse a couple of times, you know, she was still breathing. And you just woke up and she was like, man, that was awesome, you know. And I was just like, you're nuts, man. You just totally, completely annihilated yourself. You took another, 15 odd hours longer to get there. But you gutsed it out, and you were still smiling, and you beat the hell in that. You could hardly walk.
Yeah, I had 3 toenails.
Yeah, 3 toenails left.
A big hole in the bone.
And it's not something you want to do every day of your life.
No.
But you just smashed it. You did it, and the whole atmosphere in that camp was pretty amazing, eh?
Oh, it was awesome, and you know, it didn't matter where you came really, as long as you came over the finish line, and everybody would get up and celebrate, except for when I was comed. But yeah, no, that was just totally mind-blowing. I mean, it was life-changing, that experience, really. And you know, being alone in the desert, and I mean, like one of the roving vehicles went past, and he says, "Hey, how you doing, Max?" I said, "I'm miserably marvellous," or something. And I looked, and they said, "Oh, just be aware, there's nobody 2 hours in front of you or 2 hours behind you." And I said, so this is my happy place, you know, the middle of the night, the middle of the desert, miserable as but happy, and in my own little mind, thank God for an iPod though. But yeah, and so that sort of I suppose I got sand in my head really, as I've said to people.
Get addicted
And
to the desert.
it took me, I swore and declared I'd never ever do another one of those God-forsaken races ever. It was very nice, thank you very much, done that, feel good, you know, and I've got the medal, and I've got the calluses, and been convicted from it. And I've got friends from 40 different other nations that you meet along the way. And yeah, you can't take any of those experiences away, so it took me 2 years before I thought I could do the Atacama in Chile. And I had an absolute blast.
Race number 2 now of the 4 Desert Series. You'll see this little symbol here.
Symbols here.
This is a symbol that says this lady's actually done all 4 deserts. I've only done 2 of that series. She's
Finally got something new, haven't
you? Bloody sure have, mate. And I'm not likely to be doing it anytime soon. So next one up was Atacama. What did you learn there? What sort of experiences did you have?
Atacama was different because you were at altitude, so I think the minimum height was like 3,500 metres, and so training for that was a bit of a mission. It was stunningly beautiful, but it was so high, so hot, oppressively hot. And I suppose because I already knew a bit about the game plan, you know, about the way the race was done, so I really only had to make sure that my fitness was up to it, because I knew what didn't work last time and what I was going to change this time. So that was really enjoyable. I mean, you still have your miserable moments and you still have your down moments, like going through the salt flats, but there's the absolute hilarious moments too, some of which are unprintable or unrecordable.
Usually to do with toilets.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's human. I mean, if you pee, it's good, isn't it? We won't talk about what happens when you've got 6 days worth of depot food to try and get up. But yeah, just amazing. The night sky there was beautiful.
You had one pretty scary moment. Storm.
The storm. Yeah, that was wicked. I mean, like they had the most amazing electrical storms there because you're so high up, and the mineral content in the ground is pretty high. And so we were having these storms at night, nothing too big. We were taught what to do if the lightning came, and I just managed to get up this like 300-metre sea dune. It was massive. Showed the Korean Special Forces how to do it properly, which was backwards. And we just got to the top, and I'd run past an Aussie guy who was looking pretty miserable. And I ran past him, and then I ran back thinking, "You're all right?" And he says, "You can screw this race." Right. So I handed him a teaspoon of Kiwi cement, and we shared a packet of cashews, and I marched him into the next checkpoint, and then I carried on pretty much on my own again, and down through this valley, and then I was thinking, this is really weird. The wind is on my face, but I feel wet on my back, and so I was cruising along, and then I thought, this is really weird. And then there was this big sandstorm came, and that was like being sandblasted, and that blew away all of the course markers. And then I thought, oh, crap. And
where do I go now? Lost in the desert.
Stop and take, like this is where my search and rescue things came into, because I thought, well, if I could gather as many of the glow sticks and the markers as I could, then I could mark out where I was going. At least everybody else had followed.
You in the wrong direction.
Yeah, and then I realised again that no, this is really weird, and the clouds were starting to boil, and like literally black boiling clouds, and yeah, there was wind on my face, but there was rain on my back, and in my little mind I was trying to work out that, so I'd turn around and I'd go, I've got the rain on my face and the wind is on my back, and when I looked up I was right underneath this massive great big storm, which is the worst place to be. It's 30 minutes before an electrical storm. And then there was this massive great big bang, and the lightning hit one of the sand dunes, and well, that was it. If you ever needed an indication to speed up. Meanwhile, I was trying to get rid of everything metal, earrings, iPod, poles, and all the rest of it, and trying to run along with my collection of sticks, throwing them out as fast as I could. But the most amazing, beautiful electrical storms ever, because the lightning bolts would come down and they'd hit the top of the Andes, like the Cantabria is one of the mountains, then they would bounce off. and they're all different colours, you know, blues and crimsons and pinks and greens, and
Not sure I want to experience that one really.
not one of us have got a photo of that because who's going to take the camera? But again, that's what these things do, is you have such amazing experiences that aren't captured, that nobody can Photoshop, nobody, you know, unless you were there, you don't understand what it was like, and those are just the precious things that you take home that I could spend a day trying to explain it and still people wouldn't get it.
No.
They ended up calling off the race, which was a little bit sad, again too for safety and things like that. So yeah, that was what it was like,
So you
being
survived.
chased by lightning pretty much. Yeah.
Survived the lightning, survived the then with AK-47s in the Sahara, survived the lightning in the Atacama.
Yeah.
Up next was the Gobi.
The Gobi, yeah, I couldn't help myself doing the Gobi. And then I figured that Nepal was pretty close as well, so it was an opportunity to go to Kathmandu, and I really feel for those guys there after that
absolutely.
earthquake.
Yeah.
Having been there, beautiful, beautiful place. But yeah, the Gobi was different again. We were in a place where, well, the race city I thought was going to be about the size of New Plymouth. It was actually about the size of Plymouth, Wellington. And all of these people that had never really seen Westerners, I've never ever thought that I would be a traffic stopper. So you'd be walking along the street and you all of these like very pretty, you know, Chinese girls, I mean, mopeds, side saddle, yeah, and they'd take one look at you and they'd be looking, because you'd be running along with lycra and titty bottles and things like that, and they'd fall off. You should have seen what happened when the Aussie guys arrived though. Of course, they were all quite stunning, so these girls, they were like falling off left, right and centre. But that was awesome, and we ventured out into what it wasn't really like a desert. But
It's
there was
very mountainous.
very mountainous.
Yeah.
We were right up in the Tian Shan mountains, and every day just seemed to be an uphill day.
Yeah.
And yeah, like 32 k's of hill. But when you get out there into Inner Mongolia and you see and meet the locals and the kids and things like that, and I mean, that's sort of what makes these races for me as well. I mean, I'll never ever win the buggers, so I might as well enjoy it. So I stop and pick up roses and, you know, or rocks rather, I call them roses.
Don't recommend that book.
And you know, stop and look at things, because I'll never ever be there again.
Yeah.
And like the understanding the locals, you know, like it was the big one in the Sahara, and in the Atacama, you know, the Chilean people, and then these Chinese and Mongolian people with nothing, you know, utes, 20 goats, and you know, when you're running along up this hill, kissing yourself and every other bugger, because it's getting cold too, and this little kid comes running out of a ute, and with his hands behind his back, and he just stands there and grins at me. He's only out like so big. And then out from behind his back, he pulls these two little kittens, and the kittens are combed, and I actually thought they were dead. And then he just went like this at me, you know, and just absolute gold.
Yeah.
And you
Just
know,
moments in time.
yeah, they were, and I mean, he was showing me his kittens, so I stroked his kitten, and you could see his dad was off tending to his goats in the yards, and then his mother came out, and I thought, oh my God, what's she going to do? You know, up flies the opening to the ute, and she comes out and she's got some bread. And one of the race rules is that, you know, you can't take anything, but I thought, this would just seem so disrespectful, you know, and so I sort of nodded very submissively and just broke off a little bit. And then a little boy, he was playing with his kittens, and, you know, and off you go thinking, another National Geographic moment, not recorded on film.
Because these races are not just about running, eh? They're about experiencing a different world and a different side of yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, every one of them I learned something, you know, about myself and about other people, and yeah, how you manage yourself. Every area is different, it has its own issue,